Productivity is the key today, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to get a shitload of work done. We're going to get back tonight, and then we've got a plumber coming around to quote us on the price of a new boiler, which is going to be fun. No idea. Yeah, he's going to come around. I'm not going to know what to ask. I'm not going to know what kind of information I want. All I want is like, what kind of boiler do I need to buy? I don't know. How expensive is that to fit? I don't know. How expensive is the boiler in the first place? I don't know. What kind of boiler is too expensive for a house like this? I don't know. I just want one that's energy efficient, quiet, and not too expensive, please. Oh, reliable and or cheap to fix. Preferably reliable over cheap to fix, but I'll take both if you're offering it to me. So yeah, today I'm going to be researching boilers and researching questions I need to ask this guy. He's the first of 4 quotes we're getting though, and he's like the friendliest of all of them. He's come around before, so well, Laura knows him, I don't know him, but we'll see. Otherwise I'm racing to get done the get pipeline for getting pipelines on my microservices. So as soon as I've got that, then my create stuff's done, and then I can walk into all the other parts. It's going to be a hoot. I'm risking a brush with imminent heavy showers, but I feel like I might just get away with it. Look, holy shit, look at the size of that sunflower. God damn it, girl. Man, ours was never got that big. Ours wasn't even as tall as me. It's that time. I feel like I'm gonna climb the walls if I don't get out the house, get out the office for a little bit. So I thought, come for a little bit of a wander and have a little bit of a ponder at the same time. And wander's a good wandering, pondering, you know, wandering, something like that. I'm making good progress development-wise. I'm just a little bit more on edge about it this week rather than other weeks. Don't know why. I think it's because there is literally 0 work for me to do. So me doing any kind of development makes it obvious that I'm not doing work. You know? Like, I have no reason to be writing code right now. I'm using the excuse of exploring options for adding stuff, but like, they don't even want me to write any code this week. I'm just so fucking bored. Anyway, yeah, like I say, going for a wander, and then going back to the office before this grey cloud bursts. Ah, shit, I've been up here before and I got lost. Let's see if we can do it again. Yeah, I think I'm just finding it really difficult to concentrate on just one thing. But there isn't really much that I can do to limit that down, I guess. Because I'll tell you what I need to think about. I need to think about provisional customers, like ideal customers that would be an ideal sell for me. That way I can figure out who I need to talk to, how I need to talk to them, and all that kind of stuff. The problem is that what RadSpider is and what it is I'm currently offering are 2 significantly different platforms that target 2 very significantly different customers. And I'm like constantly going to have to fight this fight between figuring out what it is that I need to do for now and what it is I need to do for the future. You know? But yeah, so that's where I'm currently at. I'm just trying to figure out like who it is that I need to target and how I need to target them. I think, to be honest with you, what's making it difficult for me is the fact that I feel like I should be doing something at work, even though no one's asked me to do anything. And I've asked for something to do and no one's got anything to give me. So I'm like kind of artificially filling a to-do list of things that I should do that I know aren't important, I know no one gives a damn about, but I feel like I should be doing that instead of doing nothing. Yeah, we've got a retro after this to talk about the last project that we did and figure out where we went wrong. And obviously I've got opinions on that. But I feel like they are moving in a direction that's slightly different to a direction that I'd take them in if I was still at the helm, or still fighting for the helm. But yeah, when I joined, I was moving the team away from the way that they were currently working because it was inefficient, and there are a million better ways of doing it. And they've moved away from where they're doing it, but it's not necessarily something that I necessarily agree with, which, combined with the fact that any changes we make don't affect me anyway, kind of makes me feel like, why am I even going to this meeting? But it's something to do, so there's that. But no, I can shine a light on things that are problematic and things that they can still improve. and how they want to tackle those problems is now their prerogative instead of mine. I feel like they're trying to embrace Wagile rather than what I would do, which is rip everything up and start again. They're trying to like make the best of a bad situation, but you're not going to get the change you need to do that. Like, it's so marginally different that no one else realizes it's different, so they carry on the way they are. You know what I mean? Because there's a fire engine coming. I figured out how to word it. What they had before was waterfall, like faux agile, which is actually secretly waterfall with all the downsides of waterfall, but marginal benefits from agile. Right now, what they're trying to do, by the looks of it, is get rid of all the benefits of agile, and then kind of pretend a little bit more that it's agile. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm saying. Again, this is something I shouldn't really be thinking about. I should be thinking about other things. This doesn't affect me. Turns out that I raced home for next to no reason, because my boiler quote person isn't going to be here until 5:30. Even though we said 4:30. But 5:30, that's fine. That's fine. I'm going to get some work done. He's going to come, I'm going to do the boiler, we're going to have to... After that, it's just dawned on me how ambitious it is to get 3 different boiler quotes Thursday morning. In the space of like 3 hours. I think I've got one at 9:30, 11:15, 11:30. Got 3 people coming around. And he was here for a good like 45 minutes talking about our options and stuff. And god damn, it doesn't sound... This is what you miss about renting. This is just not a problem when you rent. But yeah, so, well, Laura's not going to be happy with how much lower the boiler's going to have to go. She ain't going to be happy about that. Not at all. We might not be able to get stop clock in, but Bristol Water might be able to put one in for us in the street. If not, we can definitely just do it by sealing off a hot tap. We're limited by the pipes. This house seems to have been shoddily put together a long time ago. And it basically comes down to how long... I think this is one of those houses which is like a first-time buyer's house, and it will forever be a first-time buyer's house because people will buy it, realise how much work needs doing, and not do that work, which is what we're doing. We never intended for us to do that. We intended to come in, we were going to rip out this entire extension, but it's just not worth it. And it's not helped by the fact that in a week's time, I'm going to drop my salary down to 0. Yeah, 1 year into owning a house. Probably the better thing to have done was stay renting, make a company, and just struggle to get a mortgage. But we've got a mortgage now, so it's by the by, innit? Probably should just jump the gun a year earlier rather than now, but hey ho. Fascinating. Where does the water come from? That's the question on everyone's lips. Where is the water coming from? Because we don't fucking know. Nobody knows how water gets into this house. I do. It's via all the damp. I did vlog, didn't I? But before now. I haven't just like pounced on you, have I? So, sounds expensive. Sounds like a lot of work. But hey ho. I'll tell you what it is that's bugging me about it. It's bugging me because I'm going to spend a lot of money on getting a new boiler, and it's not going to be perfect, and that's really fucking me off. And it's bumming me out. It's getting me down because I'm like reflecting on life choices to the point where I'm questioning whether or not I should have done things in a different order or whatever. But we're going to spend a lot of money and effectively end up with something that's subpar, because I feel like in my head, the problem is I come from a world with software, right? And with software, you can, even if it's a dog shit awful mess, you can cover it up. You can make it look good, right? And if you want to make it good, it's not that hard to. But that's never the case with anything in the real world, is it? So yeah, fun times. Otherwise, I did a little bit of work. I annoyed at myself because I was aiming to finish off a piece of work today, and I've missed out on I've got some data. Forgot some data there. I knew I needed. So I'm going to need to flesh that out, and now I need to set it up for my microservice. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass because I've got to like put a message on the bus to kick it off, and then I can kind of run from there. Which I've done obviously from the automation test, but I've never actually run it. I booted it up and was just like, oh, okay, now let's hit the URL. There's no fucking data, there's no database there. It never even initialized the database because it never even ran. So yeah, I'll do that tomorrow now, I guess. I'll do it in the evening though. Yeah, I just lost all motivation to do any kind of work this evening, which is not good. Work tomorrow, I've got a shitload of testing to do. My tester friend, who I sit next to, is on holiday until next week. I'm covering the tests. I'm excited, I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be a hoot. Today was an absolute hoot, ladies and gentlemen. I had something like 256 tests to run through. I did it all, I'm working from home tomorrow, so I did all the cross-browser tests first. Basically give myself RSI. Also, I can't, all the other tests are in Google Chrome, and I can't open Google Chrome at work because it'll blue screen my computer. There was like all 4 of us, all 4 devs were working on these tests all day, and we got them all done, except for Google Chrome, which there's, to be fair, there's more Google Chrome than anything else. But we got them all done. God damn it, it was exhausting. My lord. Otherwise, we're back. I'm like shook, you know, when you're like, oh, fuck, I just need to chill the fuck out for a little bit, man, because I'm done. I'm just done. I'm working from home tomorrow and I've got more testing to do then. Hey. Just to check, do I have my... Oh, I don't have the VPN set up. Oh, shit. Oh, well, that's going to be problematic, isn't it? We'll figure that out. Either way, well, what I'm testing isn't going to be released until Monday, so if I can't do it tomorrow, then I'll do it. Fuck it. God damn it, ladies and gentlemen, I'll do some diagrams, some colouring in. That's what I'll do tomorrow. So I've got to do some like flow diagrams and stuff, you know. Whew, I am really struggling to do some work right now. I hate days like that where everything is just so goddamn boring. Because it drags you down. It drags all the motivation out of you to start anything more exciting. You know? I feel like I just want to play games or something to like kick myself. And I'm like, do I? It's a good question, do I? Because a productive break would be better than not really doing much all evening, but pretending I am. Maybe I do play a game. Well, I legitimately couldn't connect to the VPN this morning, so there's every chance that I may spend my day drawing pretty diagrams so that when I leave, people know how processes flow together and all that kind of shit. I slacked asking for help. It looks like the URL's changed because I can't even get a response from the URL that I'm supposed to VPN to. Who knows? All I know is, arguably, yes, I did have the VPN configured in like January or February, which was a long time ago, but I deleted it semi-recently, deleted the program we used to do it, because one, it starts up every time I turn the computer on, it was pissing me off, and 2, I didn't think I'd need it, and now look at me, I need it, so, but yeah, we'll see. Otherwise, I'm walking to the dentist. It's nice and dry, thank God. There's also a load of balloons up, because you can't even see them, because they're way too small. That is like one of the only downsides, I think, to having a GoPro rather than having like my old point and shoot camera, is it's a lot harder to like direct you at things that are further away because of just the style of the lens and stuff. I mean, I could change it to linear mode, but even then it'll be really small. And I've got no like functionality to zoom or anything like that. At least I don't think so. I probably do, but it'll be all digital, you don't want that shit. But yeah, so the balloons have gone up this weekend. It's Balloon Festival weekend, so the trick is leave the car at home as much as you can because Bristol will shut down. In fairness, I think today is the only day that they'll go up, to be honest, because the weather's supposed to be so bad this weekend. But yeah, so dentist, hopefully they don't ask me to do anything there and then, because I need to get back for a plumber, and then I've got 3 plumbers coming within the space of 2 hours. Well, 2.5 hours, so that's going to be fun. We're going to see if they have any suggestions and or prices for us to replace our boiler. Exciting times. And then throughout all of this, I'm going to draw some pretty diagrams of a workflow at work. Yeah, that's about it. Lol. Lol. There you go, look, that one's in range for you to see. It's actually pretty close, that one. It's probably landed on the field just behind there. Otherwise, the dentist said get here 10 minutes early so that we can process all your details. It's been such a long time since I've been there. So I put it in my calendar 10 minutes early. My appointment's at past. I'll get say 20 past. You know what time it is now? It's 10 past and I'm basically there. So I had 10 minutes early, my own 10 minutes early time. I always do this to myself. Well, that was the quickest dentist appointment I think I've ever had in my life. It was about literally 30 seconds. Me walking into the room, poking something in my mouth and then telling me to fuck off. I've got to go back though in 2 weeks to get a fill-in. I don't think I've ever had a fill-in before. I might have had one as a child, but not since. So I'm not looking forward to that, but I've already paid for it, I've already booked it in. So, god damn it. Right, well, time to go home, try and fight with this VPN. Shitload of time. To be honest, I was like, oh no, he's gonna ask to put it in now, and I'm gonna have to be like, how long does it take? Also, for a fill-in, do you struggle to talk after? You don't, do you? I fucking hate dentists, man. The only thing worse than a dentist is a fucking doctor. Oh, god damn it. But yeah, that was like almost bewildering. Like I sat down and then there's a guy, he's probably got like an Indian accent and he's got a mask on. So I could barely hear anyone anyway when they've got a mask on. And I'm like leaning back with my mouth open. And he like pokes around and then he's just like mumble, 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 mumble. Sits me up and I'm like, am I supposed to go? Am I going now? Is that it? I was like, is there more? Am I gonna look like a plum if I stand up and start to walk out? I don't fucking know. So yeah, and he's like joking with me, being like, oh, I'm sorry if it's your first, I think he was saying, I'm sorry if it's your first fill-in. But surely like you're in my mouth, you know if I've had a fill-in or not. Look at the doggo. Hello, doggo. Yeah, he like talked really quick, had an accent, and had a mask on, and talked quiet. You know when people like talk to you, but they're like turning away to type something into a computer. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying, fam. I'm just gonna walk out here and go to the desk and see what they say. So, but yeah, fun times. Right, well, 1 appointment down today, 4 more to go, 3 plumbers and a solicitor. So yeah, that boy still parked outside. Don't think we'll go with that company. He seemed nowhere near as thorough as the first guy who came around, but he does think we can go up still instead of having a pipe across, which I'd prefer, but we need a roofer to properly seal the roof at the top, and would be guessing a bit on trying to buy a boiler that matches the dimensions of this and happens to have a flue that's long enough, and all that kind of shit. So, but yeah, okay, interesting. When's the next boy? The next boy is not for, oh, an hour and a half. That means I can get some work done. My God. I don't really know how like dumb to play it. Like, you know, I'm getting multiple quotes in. Firstly, when the first guy came around, I was pretty dumb and he like filled me in on loads of stuff. But yeah, I feel like he didn't give me any information there. I was just really like, oh, what wattage is it? I told him and then he was like, right, okay. What brand do you want? Okay. And then just like looked to the roof a bit. And I'm like, okay. Whereas like the other guy looked at where the gas came in and all the pipes leading up to it and figured out how wide it was, so he could then tell us what wattage we could get rather than what it was at the moment. Yeah. I mean, I don't actually think they'll be cheaper. They have to be significantly cheaper than the other guy to justify that. But having said that, going straight up would be a lot better. That corner's weird without a ladder in it. It's kind of a bit bizarre. It's gonna freak me out a bit, that. This is awkward, right? So the VPN is now set up. I can now access the test containers, which is good. So I can do the testing. Hopefully, I mean, I've got 35 tests to do for each site that we're hosting this on, that we're hosting the changes on, which is all the EU sites. Make a cup of tea. So I've got like a shed load of testing to do. We've done all the cross-browser testing at work yesterday. I'm now doing all the Chrome testing today, which is basically just like the detailed, like get into the nuts and bolts of it testing. The problem is that so far, every person who's come around has wanted to look out onto the roof of the extension to see how the flue is coming out of the boiler. Obviously that means going through my office, and in my office I might have some interesting things on my screen from work, which is difficult to explain away because of the nature of the things that are on my screen. You know, it's not the normal thing. It's not what you'd expect, or maybe you would expect someone who's just in on their own all day to be looking at during the daytime. But it's very interesting. But I'm gonna make a cup of tea and I'm gonna chip through some tests. Just got a notification. Oh, maybe this is a plumber guy? No. I hate it when I'm looking out the window and people come by and I'm like, oh shit, maybe they saw me. Yeah, otherwise I was trying to run my microservices. I'm having some issue injecting something, which is half of the problem with my automation tests. Only give me so much. They give me the ability to basically run unit test level of detail at an integration level, but it doesn't give me the opportunity to do an actual run the whole test kind of thing. So, because arguably I'm manipulating dependency injection workflows in order to do what I'm doing. I'm doing it as little as possible, but there is a problem with some of the dependencies that I'm injecting. There's a problem with some of the dependency injection stuff that I'm working on that I didn't notice until I ran it. So there's the downside. My automation tests don't give me everything. But yeah, the only real way to do that is actually do it, which is what I want to do, but I don't have the time or money to do it at the moment, which is basically bring up a smoking, like an environment, run all the tests, burn it to the ground, and then deploy it to like a real dev environment, but I'm not paying to host it yet in Azure. I could, in theory, set up a cluster on my old computer and let that be it, but the amount of configuration to do that's just not worth it, basically. I may as well get to the point where I can afford to run that environment and then do it. I mean, I can afford it. It's not ludicrously expensive. It's just an expense I don't need to pay out at this precise moment in time. So, right. But yeah, it's kind of awkward doing, because I was about to say, it's good. If I can get all the testing done today, then tomorrow I'll basically not have any work to do, which will be good, except for drawing my pretty diagrams. But that's not really what I want, because what I need is internet access and a computer. Well, I've got my laptop, I guess, which I could set up. But I need to run my microservices to make sure they're working, and there's not really much point. I need to get to a point basically by the end of the day where I want to merge in everything, and then I can start working on changing my API a little bit, because I fucked it a bit, trying to be a bit too clever, and it's not going to work. But yeah, I was hoping to be able to do that a little bit today, but apparently not. But otherwise, 2 boiler people, a bit more testing, lunch. At some point this afternoon, I'm going to ring a lawyer. Don't like lawyers. It's also a corporate lawyer. It's not a private client lawyer, which I've spoken to before. It's a corporate lawyer. And man, if I'm going to feel like I'm out of my depth, it's going to be when I'm talking to her. She knows I'm a startup, but she knows I'm a startup, but I don't know if she knows I'm a bootstrapped startup with no outside investment yet. So there's so many tests. I've only added an extra 2%. I've got so many fucking tests to dip through. It's taking me ages. I'm going to be doing this tomorrow. It doesn't matter, even running at it all day today, I'm still going to be doing it tomorrow. That's how fucking many there are. Jesus Christ. The second guy that's supposed to be coming around is late now. Hasn't messaged me to say when he'll be coming. But I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be basically exactly when we don't want him to be. You know? I bet I'll get 2 plumbers basically rock up at the door at the same time. Which is going to be great fun. I've just seen potentially the thing that's our stop clock to kill the water to the house. Interesting. I didn't think we had one. I've just seen it. It's basically just underneath the car. This is as much as I like testing. I actually do like testing. But this kind of testing is so monotonous and so like RSI inducing that you just sit there and just click things, the same buttons over and over and over again, expect it to do something slightly different. So I've done 15 out of the 35 for this site. I'm bored. I'm bored, I'm getting all make. God damn it. Why is it big companies use Word documents all the time? I've just had a quote emailed through from someone, and it's a fucking Word document. I don't have Word. Why would I have Word? I have online versions of Word. Right, here you go. From my business account. But only because I've got a business account, like a Office 365 job. Can I just open an existing one somehow? I don't know. So that is one guy has... He's just came around now. It's interesting because the first guy we had was, he's not really a, can I open, not from OneDrive. Yeah, it's a doc file. God damn it, mate. Right. Guys, come on, PDFs. Send me some PDFs. Right, so it's really interesting. We've had 3 people come round. One guy who's just like a dude. He's just like runs a plumbing. He's like just a sole trader kind of guy. Who's really nice. We've had him around before. He's really cool. He hasn't got back to us with a quote yet. But he gave us like the most information. He's like basically covering everything. So like there's issues with the roof, which the guy we've just had isn't going to touch because he wants a proper roofer to do it and all that kind of shit. So that's like additional. But the guy we've just had was really nice and really like seemed to be really good. He thinks it's going to be a relatively simple job. Relatively. Reckons he can do it in a day rather than 2 or 3 days. And it's a big company. But they do the one thing well, and it's a big company, it's a regional company, do one thing well, or the other guy who's like, probably still does the same thing well, but will do other things as well, added on, you know? So it's an interesting problem to solve. I don't now think, so there was one guy who hasn't been here yet, who hasn't arrived at all. So I guess we're just gonna kind of sit and wait for him. He might come at some point in the future, I don't know. Who knows? But it's not crazy expensive. It's only a little bit more expensive than I thought it would be. I was expecting between 2 and 3K and it's basically 2. So the one this morning that I didn't really like was just short of 2. But only less because he's not added on the things that we'd want in a way. But there's also the interesting thing where they're like, yeah, you can get this boiler and it's good for like 5 years. Will we be living here in 5 years' time? I don't know. Maybe, probably. It's all like, if I had a real job for the next 5 years, probably not. We'd probably move out and go somewhere else. And because in 5 years' time, Laura will be earning a lot more money. I would be if I carried on my own track. But because I'm doing my own thing, it might be a case that I'm cash. Well, obviously, anything could be true, but if I'm successful in my business, which I plan to be, then it might be a case that I'm like cash rich, but mortgage poor, if that makes sense. Like, I'll have access to funds. I'll have funds, but a mortgage company might not necessarily count them effectively. Also, I'm not intending on paying myself a lot of money for the first couple of years that I'm running my business. Even if it is pretty successful, I'm planning on basically paying myself however much. So for the next year, I've got my funds to fund myself. I'm running at basically $1,000 a month, maybe a little bit more. $1,000 a month living costs. I'm planning for the next 2 or 3 years to basically pay myself that. So I'm not gonna just like bump my salary, even if I can afford it, to my current rate. I'd rather do that to pay other people to build it. Like, because I'm not getting investment, I need to run it really cheap wherever I can so that the money gets spread out a bit further, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like getting a good boiler for the next 5 years is worth it on the grounds that it's likely we'll be here in 5 years' time, which will be 30 then. We'll both be 30 in 5 years. It's likely we'll be looking to move around the age of 30. That's our ballpark for for when we were planning on potentially needing a slightly bigger place. Because I mean, we can get a dog in this place, but maybe something else, maybe not. But anyway, words, lunchtime. Also, when I say like in 5 years' time, Laura will be about on double the salary she's on now. Should be a proper solicitor by then, rather than a paralegal. But having said that, that only gets her to about where I am now. It'll be a bit higher than what I'm currently on now. So it's like, you can't play dice. You can't just predict these things. You can't just get like a mystic ball and predict what's going to happen in 5 years' time. But it would be unlikely that we'll be in a position where we could get another mortgage for somewhere different. Because wherever we're going to go is probably going to be somewhere more expensive. And I'm about to go into a period where I'm burning down savings. So we won't have the deposit. We'll have like a mortgage that's obviously a good track record, but we won't have the deposit that we previously had because that was a first buyer's jobber. So, no. Just saying words and things. I'm just talking to myself now. Let's have some lunch and then let's settle down to some more fucking testing. God damn it. Right, so we might be here in about half an hour with the other guy. So we'll leave everything, good call, leave everything as it is. My solicitor friend hasn't contacted me yet. To find out when she wants a call. Let's hide this. Got time to eat a sandwich. Eat a sandwich, and then your boy can come. I don't like having to talk to all these people, I really don't. But we get it done, don't we? Hey boys, want to see something cool? My business card, mother trucker. Oh yeah, man. That's pretty dope. I'm a fan of that. Now I've just got to find people to give them to. LOL! All done. We have 2 clear runners for the win. Although one of those 2 haven't actually come back to us with a quote yet, so we'll see. Right, finish off my lunch, have an apple, and then go back into some testing. It's pretty warm in here, man. I might have to put some shorts on. I'm calling it, man. I've breached 100 tests. I've put in 126 orders today. Fuck me dead. I'm so fucking done. Oh god damn it, I've only got another fucking 70 to do tomorrow. So bored of looking at the same shit. God damn, I don't know how people can do that. I genuinely don't know how people can be a manual tester as a job, because fuck. So like bits of it are interesting. I like the breaking something, you know. I like that. I like getting, here's something, break it. That's fun. I enjoy that. That's great. But proving it works is so dull. Like there's a lot. It's hard work being a tester because you've got to think about where everything can break. And no one's going to tell you. Like a developer's not going to tell you. Like the amount of tests that we was doing yesterday. So we were doing all the cross-browser tests yesterday. I farmed it out. We had 3 other devs working on those tests so that I could basically burn through most of them yesterday. And a lot of them were like, well, this couldn't break. This isn't even thinking. I'm like, yeah, but I can see why that test is there. Like I can rationalize with it. I can be like, yeah, that makes sense because this could happen. And if it worked like this, then this would be the way that it is, which kind of proves that it doesn't work like that. But from a dev perspective, you're like, God damn, but that's not even related. But it is related at the end of the day. And like I say, it's really fun looking at something and being like, right, here's what we've implemented. Here's all the ways we could break it. But what isn't fun is making sure that none of those ways actually do break it. You know? Because you end up having to fucking buy 127 different things at different price points, at different everything, on different devices, on different browsers, different websites, just to try and break it. And to be fair, we're finding some issues. I just don't think any of them are in our remit to be able to fix because it's a third-party company that we're integrating with. I think we've just found problems with their stuff, and their stuff isn't really their thing. It's just like a fake test one. So we're like, meh. But god damn, I feel like I'm getting RSI. And I'm done. I'm done for the evening. God damn it, man. I might play some... Should I play some Xbox or should I do some actual my programming? I do feel like I want to get some of my work done. So I might have a power break. and then jump into it. And ladies and gentlemen, you'll be glad to know that I finished off my project for Create Pipeline, which is good. I'm actually kind of impressed. It took that entire task took 30 hours, which sounds like a lot. But during that time, I figured out all of that automation stuff. So I initialized both the API on its own, all the actions that are involved in that. I've got through all the automation test problems, the authentication issues with the automation tests, and some other stuff I think I solved problems with. I'm like, in 30 hours, that's pretty fucking good. That's like a week, just me just like, bam, done. And now I've got all of that stuff, everything else should be a lot quicker. So I'm gonna look at changing the way that I do get. I flip-flop on this because in theory, I could just do get pipeline and then just have a big old flat object that's like sometimes populated, sometimes not, you know? So it's just got like a shitload of fields. They're all nullable. And then I'll give you back the ones that are relevant to your object type. Or I have different actions for different types. So you basically go to the pipeline thing and it'll be like, yo, you should actually go to this. And it'll be a reference to a very specific, the type that you have. And then you get a type safe version of what it is you've got. And then you only get relevant information. I did it with credentials because I wanted to support like OAuth and personal access tokens and all that kind of shit. And it worked quite well there, and I set up a load of stuff, which I'm going to obviously copy, set up a load of stuff that did route automatic follows and all this kind of stuff, so as soon as you called it, it would go off and get the real one, and all that kind of stuff. It was pretty dope, but yeah, what was it, redirect to actions and all that kind of shit, and then my API gateway will just go and get all the information it needs, if you didn't give it properly because you're using GraphQL or something like that. It's fun, but yeah, that's what I'm going to work on next. Otherwise, Laura went to bed early because she was feeling poorly, and I've been playing a bit of Xbox and watching YouTube videos. Now I'm going to bed. Thanks for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bit of a long one. I apologise. I should have ended the video last night. I forgot that when I'm at home, I talk to you a lot. Maybe we can go back to daily when I work, when I don't have a job to go to. Who knows? It'll probably get boring very quickly. I'll catch you later.